This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, good morning. Welcome on. Look out at our window world sky cam here in Texarkana. Don't bug out or anything, but there's more heat on the way here for the day today. There's a very intriguing look at that camera here in Texarkana. He's been there for, by the way, the past 3 to 4 minutes as I've kind of stared at this camera now ever since I brought it up. Very intriguing, so to speak. Hello, welcome on. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. I trust we usually don't start out with bugs on the first floor with a breakdown. Look, yeah, there you go. He's moving a lot more. And there he goes. There he goes. It's a beautiful day here today around the ArkLaTex. Beautiful day for a first alert weather breakdown. And we're all about the weather. We're not about entomology. I think that's the study of bugs. I could be wrong. I think it's entomology, something to that effect. Anyways, we're here to talk about weather, not about buggos. So, anyways, let's get to said weather. Welcome on. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason again. Thank you very much for joining us on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. It's great to be back with you. First time I've personally been back here in 5 days. I think it's been since Friday. Yes, I believe so. I'm back on here for the day today, and I should be your host here for the rest of this work week. So guess what? You come back for Thursday, you come back for Friday, and I'll be there. 3 straight days on the First Alert with a breakdown. Not gonna lie, I've missed it. Missed you guys. Hopefully you guys are doing all right. CJ, I know, took good care of y'all. But anyways, here for the next 2 days. Not only will I be back, but I'll probably be back with the same message. Hot heat and lots of sunshine here for the next 2 days. A little exception, though, for Friday. And we're going to go over that here in just a little bit. Here's what we're about. I know we've been on the rain train. That's the wrong sheet. There we go. I know we've been on the the sunshine train here over the past couple of days with lots of intense heat and humidity all around the region. That's going to continue in for today. That's a look at your part of your local forecast moving on into the next day or two. So where exactly is the relief from the heat? Well, we do have an answer for that coming in store in our local forecast too, because things are going to change around here in just a few days. And then our exclusive content here for the day today is going thoroughly over what's going on in the tropics, and this is a perfect day to go over it because we had a new area of interest that formed yesterday, specifically last night, and we're going to have all the details about that coming up here in a little bit because that area of interest is looking to also give us rain chances here in the ArkLaTex. Yes, that area of interest is possibly impacting the ArkLaTex here in just a few days, giving us that little chance of rain here in just a little bit. So a lot to get over here. So essentially we're going to go over talk about the local heat first and see what's going on with that. Then we'll see when rain's coming back, and then we're going to go into the tropics and try to relate that to how we are exactly getting rain back in the ArkLaTex here in just a few days. I want to welcome y'all for those of you, that are watching from our YouTube page. Feel free to leave a comment live, and I will always, as promised, answer them live on air. It might take me some time, but I will get to it in the span of this podcast. Anyways, let's hop back outside. The bug is gone on our window sky cam in Texarkana now. So moving on by, it is a beautiful day also in Shreveport. Pretty much same outlook. I mean, not only the thing about this kind of coverage as well on our skyline is that not only is there no rain, there's no cloud cover. There hasn't been much of cloud cover at all this week. So not only is it's not even just partly cloudy skies that we're hanging with. We're having a lack of moisture in the upper levels. Still plenty of, obviously, humidity all around the ArkLaTex, yes, but not a lot to show for it up in the atmosphere, so to speak, way up above us. Again, that's going to change in just a few days. We're going to kind of summarize that here in our weather headlines moving on by throughout the ArkLaTex. So for today and tomorrow, we are still on the sunshine train. You come back here with me tomorrow at 10:30, you'll pretty much see the same skyline. I think with maybe a little bit of clouds around, but overall, still plenty of sunshine, plenty of dry conditions, and plenty of heat over the next 2 days. Then we get into Friday and Saturday. That's when things start to change a little bit around here. We got it more isolated. I'd say isolated to scattered storm coverage of some storms here And for each afternoon, between Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon as well, we're watching out for those 2 days to bring us rain showers, which some of that spans from what's going to happen to the tropics over the next 2 days or so as well. Again, we'll get to all that here in just a little bit. Meanwhile, next work week, looking pretty same as the trend we're on now. Hot sunshine lingering on. The only reason I have a little rainy icon there is that we could receive technically a brief pop-up storm, a brief stray pop-up storm, that is, heading into next work week. But overall, the trend of hot heat, we're talking 100-degree days, are back next week, along with overall mostly sunny and mostly dry conditions. All right, so again, that's continuing into next week. So yeah, unfortunately, we do have relief from the heat in store. We do have rain coming back, but essentially it's just a little hill. It's not a mountain to climb, and it's not a valley down. It's not a drastic change like a cold front usually is. That'll just slice our temperatures a good bit. It's just a little tiny relief away from the heat, a little tiny bits of some rain showers coming through here for the weekend. All right, so for right now, let's talk temperatures. First and foremost, I always love to go over that first. So 88 right now in Shreveport, 91 in Texarkana, 89 for Natchitoches, 86 in Idabel, 85 in DeQueen. Feels like temperatures already reaching 100 degrees. Again, we have another heat advisory in effect here for the day today until 8. That goes for everybody around the ArkLaTex. And this is kind of why. It goes in effect from now until pretty much the end of the day, as this feels like temperatures are going to be sustained, especially in the afternoon, between 105 to 110 degrees. Maybe even seeing an extreme few of you reaching maybe 115. It's expected to get way up there. Sorry, I feel like I have something in my eye. Maybe it's allergies or something. I don't know. Anyways, 102 degrees in Texarkana, 99 today in Foreman, 100 in New Boston. Oh, man, 98 in Marshall, 98 in Carthage, 97 in Nacogdoches, 97 in Mount Pleasant. These are pretty much your high temperatures that were found outside yesterday in for Tuesday. If you want to if you want to look at the forecast period here for today and for your Wednesday, it's pretty much a copy paste from yesterday. Not much is changing here, at least here through tomorrow. Here for the most part, today and tomorrow. At least temperature-wise. Now, starting on Friday, we will cool off the highs just a little bit. And that cooling trend does last, especially into Saturday. That's kind of the peak of how cool we will get in for Saturday. Because you can already see we're starting to warm up by Sunday. And just so you know, next week is looking about the same as what this week is. 100-degree days. So, I know 92 degrees as a high is still, yes, very hot. It's not blazing way off the charts hot, and at least, cuts the degrees by 8 degrees. It's something of relief, which is better than nothing. Again, feels like temperatures. So again, this pretty much accounts for the humidity around the region. You take into account the humidity and the temperature. That's what you get. This is what it feels like outside, especially for the afternoon. And again, do not be surprised to see a heat advisory in effect for over the next 3 days, as those feels like temperatures remain overall between 105 to 110 each and every afternoon. But if you do notice, we will cool things down, as I just discussed, on Saturday, and that will really greatly increase our feels like temperatures as well, down to the low to mid-90s before quickly heating things back up in time here for next work week. All right. So that was look at the feels like temperatures. Now let's get into the short-term future track, what's happening around here. So again, short-term wise here for the day today, as I kind of mentioned already, it's a beautiful sunny day on both of our webcams, and it should stay that way. Not much in terms of cloud cover at all here for the afternoon hours here for your Wednesday. Thus, not much of a chance of a rain shower at all. But then we get into Thursday. Things start to change a little bit more for tomorrow. I know I mentioned already in the headlines that things are mainly going to change here for Friday, and that's correct. But Thursday, you start to see some signs of us progressing into a little more of a rainy direction. And it's just a little bit. It starts with Thursday around lunchtime forming just a little bit of cloud cover. Just a little bit. It's more than what we saw on our future track here for the rest of today. So for Thursday, just that little bit of cloud cover could provide a brief pop-up shower too. I shouldn't see it in for Thursday, but it could technically happen. Or you see late on Thursday evening, maybe a stray shower around Natchitoches, for example, here for tomorrow evening. Besides that, that's really it, though. That's all we should be getting. the next 2 days. But again, that little tiny surge of cloud cover, little tiny surge of maybe a brief shower or two, leads to more abundant moisture coming in here for Friday. And you'll see it Friday afternoon, starting up around lunchtime. It starts incredibly stray, but once we get into the afternoon, we start pulling out some storms out of central Louisiana that's essentially going to be trying to ride I-49 northward and even go from east to west on the I-20 corridor there for Friday afternoon. And you see by Friday afternoon, a number of storms forming that for you then on the I-20 corridor, especially around Shreveport and Bossier, and some of these could be bringing some heavy downpours there for your Friday afternoon plans. It looks like most of this is reserved for northwest Louisiana, but still a stray shower for anybody else is possible. And keep in mind, that's just Friday. Saturday, another chance for storms lingers around the region for you then. And keep in mind, most of this is because, before we talk more in store about what's going on for Saturday, most of this is because of what's going on in the tropics. Tropical forecast is our exclusive forecast, and we pretty much always do that after a commercial break. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to go into the long term about what's happening around here in the ArkLaTex and how that relates to what exactly is going on in the tropics with a new area of interest that is targeting the Gulf. We'll have all the details on that after just a quick water break. I'll be right back. All right, welcome on back to the first Slow Weather Breakdown. Again, I'm your host, Evan Thomas, and thank you for joining us, embarking on this adventure where things are finally changing around the ArkLaTex, at least just a little bit. It's something. I feel like that's been the motto of this entire morning when I've been doing morning shows for weather. We have relief coming, and even then, if you've been paying attention, most of the anchors have tossed to me, meaning they've kind of ask questions like Dom and Julia have this morning, asking me in the first weather, hey, when is the relief from the heat coming? I'm like, we got something coming, but hey, it's better than nothing. Don't get your hopes up too much. As we kind of mentioned earlier, just a little bit ago, again, highs are only getting down to the low 90s. But most of that's because of what's going on in the skies. We do have a chance of storms, and most of that is going on because of what's going on in the tropics. See what I did there? Look, weather's amazing. It leads from one end to the other. All right, so the season has begun. Here for the day today, it is not June. I forgot to change that yellow bar. But today is essentially the latter part of July. And overall, the months of June and July are just kind of appetizers. The main course is about to start. It mainly starts in the first portion of August. And you really see once August hits, that's when all of that tropical storm activity really starts to ramp up. The peak of the season is in September, mainly early September, but still lots of number of storms still could carry on throughout the month of October too, as late as Halloween, and even November has been known to carry on a storm or two. They're even lacking into the Thanksgiving kind of time frame, so to speak, as well. So their peak 3 seasons are coming up. Overall, I believe the statistic is somewhat of 85%. 85% of the season is still left ahead of us, essentially. So still a long way to go. Long way to go. All right, so let's go on to what's happening now. Let's first talk about sea surface temperatures. And you need 80 degrees or higher to really produce all of these storms around the anywhere around the waters for tropical development. Thankfully, boy, the Gulf has been eerily quiet. We had a system that almost formed last week into Dexter. It did not. Dexter is still the next name on the list for a tropical system to form into. We've had the only other system that's been in the Gulf was Barry, and that was brief. It hit as a tropical storm along the coast of Mexico, and it was a weak tropical storm when it hit. Talking mainly weak when it came to its maximum sustained winds. Obviously, the remnants of Barry pack-a-punched onto the central Texas area, and obviously that's still a headline to this day. But the point is that the Gulf overall hasn't been used up. Its energy is still ripe for the taking, essentially. Where you get these temperatures way up in the upper 80s all around the Gulf. And it's just waiting for something to come essentially this way. So we do have a new area of interest. This is our only area of interest to look at. So first and foremost, things are looking good in the Atlantic for now. There's no area of interest at all in the Atlantic Ocean. We had one earlier this week on Monday, but that's been completely dissolved as it headed into the Caribbean Sea. Now, to give you a synopsis of what's going on off the coast of Africa, there could be a wave that does eventually maybe form in like 2 weeks or so. It's been hinted to us, but that's still way down the road. We'll keep you first alert about that closer to the time frame. The point is, this is the only area of interest that's on the map that's forming within the next 7 days. And overall, it has a 10% chance of forming within the next 48 hours. This came in last night, late last night as well. Now, the yellow X kind of shows where they're monitoring technically the central location as of right now, but obviously a incredibly broad low-pressure system. You see storms from this system already hitting New Orleans here currently with this little storm coverage that is essentially right in here. But overall, broad low-pressure system that even has some moisture well out here, even some on the coastline, some of the Florida and the peninsula as well. The point is, it's very disorganized. It's just a lot of moisture. But hey, if it's a lot of moisture that's headed westward into the Gulf, that's always cause for a little bit of a problem where that yellow circle is, because then that comes into our jurisdiction, essentially. So again, there's that broad low-pressure system here for you. What's happening here is our high-pressure system is essentially nudged a little bit northward. Now, all the moisture that you see there in New Orleans, that's moving southwest. Most of that should just be hitting the coastline here for the day today and does not hit the ArkLaTex whatsoever. But more importantly, what I also want to get to is that this is all rotating around this low-pressure system. So this low-pressure system is going to slowly meander westward, not at the rate of those storms are going westward, so to speak. And what I'm trying to say is more storms should be forming closer to this low-pressure system and try to resupply more storm coverage in areas like Louisiana and the coastline around there. So essentially, low-pressure center is moving westward. Why is it moving westward? Well, we have to go to that high-pressure system that's been actually protecting us. High-pressure systems are known for giving us dry air and also lots of sunshine. And in the case of summer, lots of intense heat results in sunshine as well. Now, the point of this high-pressure system going northward, just being nudged up northward just enough, is it allows this low-pressure center to be essential, and all this moisture to be rotated around this high-pressure system. Now, it's a little close to this high, which is kind of why the low-pressure system has a very small chance of forming. You need that low-pressure system to be on its own, essentially, not disturbed by any other pressures at all, not any other systems, essentially. And because it's too close to this high-pressure system, it's finding a lot of what we call wind shear, which essentially shears off and gives a haircut to all the storms, allowing the storms to be completely disorganized and not really form entirely. So the point is, this shouldn't become an actual tropical storm, but the actual moisture that's along the coastline right now is going to follow the rotation of this high-pressure system, which is rotating essentially clockwise, going all the way around here, all the way around here, all the way due westward through southern Louisiana. But if you look at the western edge of this high-pressure system, got some northerly winds to it as well, which will start to give us a chance for storms here in the ArkLaTex here in just a little bit. So for now, nice and sunny, nice and dandy, but that's not going to last. Here's the long-range future track here for you, which really just tracks onto the system alone. You can always look at the tree report in the ArkLaTex in the corner if you missed the first future track we went over in a little bit earlier. But essentially, this is going to maneuver a huge ball of tropical moisture, kind of like it did last week. You remember last week we had a similar setup to what we have now, which was an area of interest around the east coast of Florida that was moving westward into the northern Gulf, bringing us lots of tropical moisture, essentially right on the Gulf coastline, from Tallahassee all the way over to New Orleans. I mean, you could see by tomorrow morning, it is completely all along the coastline there for you then. And some of this does come on shore here for Thursday afternoon, actually hitting some coastal areas around Louisiana and Mississippi, while the ArkLaTex stays dry here for Thursday. But then, again, this is a moving system around the high-pressure system, so it's going to continue to move west with a little bit of a northern trajectory once it gets into Friday. And the issue on Friday is the morning it starts out on the coastline, but then that northern trajectory really springs up those afternoon storms into the ArkLaTex. So that's why we're watching out for mostly isolated groups of storms to hit you for Friday afternoon and Friday evening then. And the system's going to continue to mature. I wouldn't say mature, but it's going to continue to move northward in for Saturday. And that afternoon heat is going to spark out more storms with that moisture in place pretty much all across the region here for Saturday afternoon. So Friday, it's looking like the southern half of the ArkLaTex is limited to the rain chances. But then Saturday, it's pretty much everywhere. It's a mess everywhere around the whole region. I might even increase rain chances once we get into tomorrow, once we get closer to the date here for Saturday. So that's Saturday. Sunday doesn't look nearly as impressive. That system continues to move up northward, continuing to maybe give a brief shot of rain to, say, central Arkansas. The Texoma area, closer over to Dallas and Fort Worth, maybe as well. But you can see Sunday looks a lot less impressive than Saturday. So once we get rid of that kind of we have a slim rain chance still technically in store all the way into Monday and Tuesday as well from Sunday. But because it's only a slim chance of rain, that's what raises back up those temperatures as well. We'll talk more on that here in just a little bit. So that was a full look at the long-term future track. As for the rest of the Gulf, I just wanted this is your last little thing before we get back into the 7-day forecast here locally. This is kind of just looking at the Gulf. So again, we have that little. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to go that fast. So again, we have that little area of interest that you can see in the northern end of the Gulf that's affecting us here for the weekend. Still some moisture out in the Caribbean, but as of right now, the Caribbean Sea is actually no man's land. Usually it's not in a typical tropical season, but during this month and during this week in particular, they're fighting lots of Saharan dust, which is actually suffocating, essentially, the Caribbean Sea. It's allowing it to be a hazard for tropical systems to go into, which is good news here for the moment. Obviously, that Saharan dust is kind of short-lived, but for the moment, it's making the Caribbean Sea quite dry. You can kind of see that a little bit. Some rain off the coast of like Belize and Nicaragua close to the coastline, but nothing coming from the east actively to the west when it comes to any big ball of moisture, so to speak. That's what you would be looking for on this map for any formation of a tropical system. So all the way through the weekend, Caribbean still mostly doing fine. And once we get rid of that area of interest by definitely Saturday, I mean, the Gulf is even looking mostly dry in the grand scheme of things as well. So that'll be pretty good for us. But For this weekend, again, watch out for a few storms coming back. 30% chance of storms here for Saturday. I think there's going to be a fewer number of storms here for Sunday, essentially isolated groups anywhere across the ArkLaTex here for your Saturday afternoon. Then for Sunday, just a few stray showers that might be left over, but you saw the picture yourself. Saturday's rain looks a lot more impressive than what's coming on Sunday. There for you. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast here for you. 100 degrees here for the day today. Same thing here for tomorrow. Then you see that temperature drop down to 92 here for Saturday. That's your relief away from the heat. Drop by 8 degrees there between Thursday and Saturday. And then we pretty much restore that 100-degree mark once we get into Monday of next week, especially once that rain pretty much completely fizzles out. We still have a 10% rain chance for Monday and Tuesday, mainly for a brief pop-up afternoon storm. But overall, I'm looking at next week pretty much being the same as this week here for the most part. Excuse me. But yeah, watch out for Friday and Saturday. Not looking at anything too severe. Even the flash flood risk on Friday and Saturday is looking incredibly low. Even worse than the last little rain system that hit us last Friday. So yes, so it'll be a couple storms to dodge, yes. But the point is, we shouldn't be worrying about severe weather with this tropical system at all. Hopefully, knock on wood. We'll let you know if anything's changed, anything gets closer to the date for you then. But the forecast overall, especially with these rain chances, getting a lot more fine-tuning and being a little more exact. Or we're narrowing down which days we're holding those rain chances for you, so to speak. All right, I saw a comment from YouTube. Christian, first of all, always appreciate you watching the First Look Weather Breakdown. Always appreciate it, man. I said, good morning. Do you see any wind issues with the tropical interest? As of now, no. In fact, the issue with the tropical system isn't the moisture. It's still going to have a lot of moisture with it, similar to what happened last Friday, again, with just a couple pop-up storms that we're dealing with. But the wind should not be an issue. I don't see that being a massive issue here at this time. With the storms that are coming into the ArkLaTex here for Friday and Saturday, and overall, I don't think that's going to be too much of a concern. I wouldn't say I could be wrong, but we'll see if that changes. But essentially, that's what we're watching out for: the moisture, and I think the lack of winds is leading to the fact that the tropical area of interest only has a 10% chance of forming. It's because it's not able to produce that spin. It's not able to produce 40-mile-an-hour winds. There for you. But great question. Thank you very much for asking. Really appreciate it. All right. I think that's it for the First Look Weather Breakdown here for the day today. You have a great rest of your day. Tomorrow we'll be back on to talk more rain chances. I'm trying to get an interview, by the way, in place here for tomorrow. We'll see how that happens. Still trying to work out some gimmicks behind the scenes to see if that interview actually is going to happen here for tomorrow, but I'll let you know. At the very least, we'll talk all about the storm chances here for tomorrow, see what's happening with that area of interest here tomorrow as well. But anyways, you have a great rest of your day. For me, on the First Look Weather Breakdown, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Try to stay cool. I know it seems like we've been in the desert here over the past couple of days. Just adrift, lost, and burnt. So, little relief's coming from me for the weekend, but hey, that always comes at the price of rain, especially when it comes to summer. You know, summer is either completely intense heat with lots of sunshine, or it's a little bit of heat, but you have rain with it. That's not much of an in-between. Anyways, you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you again tomorrow, Thursday, 10:30, for the First Look Weather Breakdown. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out. Have a good one.